Hey everybody, this is Brian from pnbhomesteading.com, and I'm down here in the house storage area of our house, and this is our indoor grow tent for our vegetables. I kind of wanted to give an update on what we got growing on inside of here this week. We took all the sunflowers out, all the beans and stuff we've had sprouted throughout the year, and we planted them outside in the yard. And this week I wanted to show, these are 2 new trays of beta salad mix that I'm going to be putting inside of the grow tent here to get them started quickly so we can have some more salad greens for our yard and get those planted out before the really hot weather hits. Or I may just keep these and replace some of my salad bar LED greens that I've got behind me here, because they're some of them are getting pretty long in the tooth. They've been there for a while. I mean, some of those I've had growing since January, and it's June now, so I mean, you know, they're kind of petering out. I'm surprised though, the chard really keeps going. I mean, we can harvest that and we regrow it and it keeps going, but we have a hot salad green mix that's kind of pretty much dead now, so we're gonna probably replace that with these 2. And then I'll seed some more of the hot mix and I'll throw that inside the tent here. But anyway, let's get back to what we were talking about. So this is a beta salad mix, and I've put 2-inch row bands here of that salad mix, and then on top of that, so I've got compost underneath, and then I've got moist compost that I put on top, so that way I don't have to water these to get them to sprout. That way I've got the nice moist compost already on top, and then I've got the timers here with my automatic watering system. They'll every hour for 3 seconds, I think I have it set now, they're going to give a nice dose, and it keeps the soil nice and moist. And these other trays, I'll talk about that in a second. Let's go ahead and put these inside the tent, get those set up. So each one of these trays is set to where it's got a 10-inch span between each one, 10 to 12 inch. That way it gives a nice spray on each of these trays. There's 2 nozzles for each tray. Put these inside here. That's Paula's poinsettia back there. I've talked about that before. It seems to be doing pretty well in here. Likes the nice warm temperature. And we've got our existing tomato plants in the back that we harvest, so we get tomatoes all year round, which is nice. I mean, you know, it's good to have these fresh greens throughout the year. If you can manage putting in one of these tents inside your house. I have another video on our YouTube channel that talks about the expense of that, and it is pretty expensive, the setup I have. But if you offset that cost by you know, either bartering, buying it on Craigslist, or getting it for free on Craigslist, there's a lot of people that give away these old tents when they get out of their grow business, as you might say, here in the Pacific Northwest. So you can find some pretty good deals. So in the other trays here, we've got Italian Genovese basil in this one. We've got sweet leaf basil in this one, and you can see they're sprouting up. You might not be able to see the other tray. I'll move the camera before I shut off. I'll give you guys a good shot of, you know, what I've got growing in here. But you know, this is the Italian Genovese basil. That's the sweet leaf basil. So that way when I do the camera work, you'll know which one I'm pointing to. And these 2 over here are perennial lupine, and I'm going to use those out in the yard as some more perennial plantings, so that way we can have more and more plants that just automatically come up every year. You don't have to plant it, and it will feed nature and feed the environment with you know, healthy pollens. Because you know, a lot of I've noticed a lot in the catalog nowadays. There's all these sunflowers that you can get that are pollen free. I mean, that's great if you want to have cut flower business, but for the majority of people, if they don't read that small print that it basically is a non-pollinator type plant, you're basically putting plants in your yard that look great. They don't do a darn thing to help the bugs and the bees and the butterflies. I mean, so you just got to make sure you look at that when you're picking your seed selections nowadays. Because I noticed on a lot of the seeds that I got, you know, I was looking at from Johnny's, and a couple of them from High Mowing Seed this year, you know, that I kind of read the small print, and it said, you know, these are for, and I actually have some of those seeds that when I got them, I actually looked at the pack and I was like, crap, you know, I don't like putting things out in my yard that aren't going to help the pollinators, which doesn't make much sense. I mean, you know, it's kind of, so I planted some of those just so Paula could cut them and put them in our house. I mean, we don't have allergies, so it's like, I'm not worried about the pollen in the house, and you know, our dogs don't have allergies or any of that, and that's okay. Well, I'll show you, let's get the camera in. I'll show you guys a close-up shot of the plants we got this week. Okay, let's get a little closer here. So, that there's the perennial lupine. That's perennial lupine. That's the sweet leaf basil there. which is, you know, coming up pretty good. I love basil, and Paul and I, we love having a nice basil with some fresh mozzarella and some of our huge German Johnson or Rose OG tomatoes. Slice those up, put a little balsamic vinegar on them. Oh man, that's a nice snack to sit out on the back deck and enjoy with your family and just take in nature. And then, you know, that's a salad mix. That's the Italian basil there. So it's kind of what we got. Okay, let's get this camera set back down here. All right, I hope you guys have a great week this week, and I'll be posting more videos over time. I love doing this, you know, sharing what I do, and you know, this is kind of my passion. I love doing this stuff. So this is Brian from pnbhomesteading.com, and I'll check in with you again soon. All right, thanks guys. Bye.